Hey, this is Bryce, and thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, Jacket Trades. In this video, I'm going to start working on the restoration of this Aristo-Craft Kangaroo. So I've amassed quite a few parts for it. I've got a new radio for it. I'm ready to go ahead and start tearing it down and getting everything cleaned up. One of the main purposes of this video will be to demonstrate my process for stripping down and cleaning a car. Once I get it down into every individual pieces, I have different cleaning processes depending on the type of part that needs to be cleaned, whether it's aluminum or hardware or black oxide hardware versus zinc plated hardware. They all have kind of slightly different processes for cleaning and restoring, I guess. So if it's black oxide, I have a gun bluing kit that I'll re-blue the parts, and it's essentially the same thing as black oxide. The zinc plated parts, I try to avoid stripping them because I do have zinc plating capabilities, but I haven't mastered it, and it's really tedious. So I'd rather not get into re-zinking the parts. So I'll avoid that. So that in of itself creates a different process for cleaning, restoring versus what I use for, say, the black oxide or the aluminum parts. But I'll get into that as we get into the teardown, and I'll go through my steps for cleaning all the parts and getting them restored. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and flip the camera around, and we'll start tearing down this car, sorting the pieces, and then we'll get into the cleaning processes. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Alright, so I'm going to sort all the pieces that come off the car. I've got some bins here for doing that. And really just depends on what the material is and the plating on the material that determines how they get sorted. Alright, so now let's get these parts into cleaning. This sub here is going to go into the tumbler. So here's the media I was telling you about. Lots of little pins. So I have this magnet for picking it up. And then we just dump in all the parts. So, and then I use a combination of this dish detergent, just a little bit, it's like a tablespoon or so, and then I use Dawn dish soap. So with this stuff, less is more usually. You don't want too much. So we fill it up until you get foam to the top, put the lid on. There we go, ready to tumble. So this is our tumbler. We're tumbling all those other parts. Alright, so it's going to be loud. This next batch here will go into the ultrasonic cleaner. And then we'll come back. And then this is going to the ultrasonic cleaner with Simple Green. And then this will go into the ultrasonic cleaner with WD-40. So here's our large ultrasonic cleaner. We'll put the parts in. I have this smaller basket for smaller parts just so I don't lose them. Let's get this turned on. So we got a strainer. I need a little bucket of water to put the parts in so they don't flash rust. I'll uncork this. Make sure we get them rinse off. Especially the aluminum, you want to rinse it off as good as you can because you don't want residual soap solution causing corrosion. Plastic parts probably could use some more degreasing. Definitely need to do some more degreasing on those plastic bits. Yeah, one more left. You're literally looking for a needle in a haystack. These plastic parts will go through another round of cleaning just because they're pretty greasy still. So sometimes if the simple green doesn't cut through the grease, I will switch over to purple power. I find that it does a lot better jobs, but it is pretty aggressive, so I don't use it all the time. But so here, I had some of those white plastic parts that weren't cleaning up very well, even the yellow ones. So I tossed them in here for 30 minutes. And they came out pretty clean. There's some hardware that I want to blue, and I'll put those in isopropyl alcohol bath. Just to the alcohol will pull the water. It'll basically dry out the parts from the water, similar to WD-40, but it doesn't leave a residue. And then I'll basically have clean parts to glue at that point. Basically, I'll be sorting the parts out between WD-40 and alcohol. So we have nice black oxidized parts now. Alright, so these parts have gone through the simple green. I just need to rinse them off and alright, so I've got all the parts cleaned for the Aristo-Craft Kangaroo. And I've got them sorted. So I've got a little fishing tote of smaller hardware sorted out. I have one kit here, which is a two-wheel drive buggy, the original Kangaroo, and then I have parts to build potentially a modified Kangaroo, and I'll get into that. And then I have a bin full of spare parts. It turns out a lot of the plastic parts that I cleaned, I had brand new trees for, so I'm actually not using, I don't think I'm using any of the plastic parts. Well, that's not true. The Nerf bars I'm using on the two-wheel drive original build, and then the modified build I have some new black Nerf bars. But I'll kind of get into each kit to show off what I plan on doing for the two builds. And then some of the parts that we have, just to kind of see how everything turned out after cleaning. So I'll go ahead and flip the camera around now so we can look at that. Alright, so these are the spare parts that we ended up with after cleaning and sorting everything. So in here we can see that we've got a couple of shock builds, some front steering knuckles, just miscellaneous parts that you would expect from having a collection of cars, except this is a new collection for us. Differential gears, diff gear, counter gear, servo saver bushings, front upper arm braces. So yeah, we have a decent collection here. We almost have enough parts to build a third car. I think what we would be missing if we want to do that would be dog bones, and the outdrive cups. I think we have everything else we would need to build a third car if we wanted to. So it's kind of that's the problem with doing this type of stuff, is you end up with enough parts for like, oh, I just need a couple more parts to build another car. Then you just keep buying and putting money into the pit. So it is what it is. It's part of the hobby, right? We have this bin of spare parts. I still have some new bag gearboxes. These tires don't go to do not go to the Dolphin. They go to a different car, or the Dolphin Kangaroo. Obviously, they're much smaller diameter. Maybe they go to the Koala. I don't know. Got a bumper, which is pretty trash, but still usable if we wanted to. Chassis. I guess I am missing a front bulkhead. That would be a big showstopper. But, and these parts are usable, but they're in pretty bad shape for the most part. But we'll save them anyways. This will be our stock build. I'm going to go ahead and lay this out using YouTube magic. Alright, so I think the only original parts that we're using after sorting everything and taking inventory, on this build, the only original parts we have are the wheels. And even those I'm going to be hunting for, because these wheels are cracked. Oh, let's see here. 2 of 4 wheels are cracked. We're using the original Nerf bars. So the Kangaroo does use yellow Nerf bars, and this will be basically a Kangaroo build. The shock plastic pieces, some plastic rod ends. The original shocks. These are the heat sinks. So we're using original electronics, speed controller, receiver, motor, and then I picked up this pistol grip radio. It's just the transmitter in the box. Drive shafts, and then we have some hardware. So not a whole lot from the original car. As we saw in the video, I blued a lot of the hardware, and I think it came out pretty good. And that's it. This will be. I think I'm going to go ahead and get started on this build, and that'll be in the next video. So let's go ahead and look at the next kit. Alright, so this kit is going to be our modified Kangaroo, more akin to the Dolphin. So let's go ahead and use some of that YouTube magic to get everything sorted. Alright, and we got that all sorted out nice and neat. So as I said, this is going to be a modified version of the Kangaroo, more akin to the Dolphin. The difference between the Dolphin and the Kangaroo is that the Dolphin is a 4-wheel drive buggy. This car is designed to be either 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, and it doesn't take a whole lot to make that happen, I believe. I have yet to actually do it. The first thing you need is a set of front outdrives and drive shafts. So the front outdrives are supposed to be shorter from this shoulder to this taper, so I can either machine back this taper and machine back this thread and then trim it, or probably the easier solution is just to put a spacer between the bearing and the wheel, or the adapter, the hub adapter, or I can make some from scratch. Making some from scratch would be the hardest solution. I haven't seen front ones pop up. I haven't even seen Dolphins pop up on eBay, so I will be having to figure out how to make those work. And hopefully the drive shafts are the correct length. If they're not, again, it's something I can work out. You can actually buy dog bones to specified lengths on eBay if you look for them. But even then, I've made dog bones in the past from scratch. It's not a big deal. And then you need, I think more importantly, is the front differential, which I happen to have a couple of. I accidentally bought these not knowing what they were for, and then I realized they're for the 4-wheel drive. But it basically uses a sprocket very similar to the Kyosho style, or Marui, with these ladder chains, but it's actually a different pitch than Kyosho. So Then I went on the hunt for a ladder chain, and I was able to find some ladder chain material through SDP, or Stock Drive Products, that actually works. And this stuff is not cheap. But I ended up picking up 3 meters worth of it, just because that was kind of the minimum order requirements. I will probably end up with 2.5 meters left over. If anyone needs chain, I have it. And then the gear set that you get comes with the traditional gears. I have yet to actually work this out. I hope it works. But it looks like there are also there's a required power takeoff gear. So we got the little sprocket in here, and then there's a little hub that sprocket ties into, and that goes onto the lay shaft, I assume. And that allows you to get that power takeoff from the transmission to a chain, and then that chain transfers power to the front differential. So I believe that we have the bare minimum that we need to get this car to be a 4-wheel drive car. And then the most glaring thing that's missing are the wheels. And these wheels are pretty hard to come by. I'll keep searching as I work through the project, but if I can't find them, I will end up designing and 3D printing my own wheels, and that's not a big deal either. This isn't meant to be a mint car. It's basically a custom build, so custom wheels kind of fits the bill for that. And I'll probably design it around some kind of vintage looking tires that Tamiya has in production right now on their Riris. What else? Oh, the body. I'm missing a body, right? There's actually 2 parts to that. So we have this, I believe this is either PVC or polystyrene. Probably polystyrene. Anywho, I need to come up with a model for this so that I can create a buck for vacuum forming this guy. And then I'm working on a body as well to vacuum form. Not this body, this is an RC10 body, but something that fits a little better on the Kangaroo chassis. And then I'll of course make 2 of those bodies for the 2 builds. And that, I think, covers it. It's kind of funny that we went through that process of cleaning all the parts, but ended up not using very many of them, but that's fine. It kind of allowed us to explore the vehicle and understand it a little better before actually diving into building one. In the next video, I will go ahead and start the build on the two-wheel drive stock Kangaroo kit, and then we'll save this custom build for later. Maybe. I don't know. The custom build is kind of enticing, but I feel like the stock build should be done first, just to kind of get more familiar with the vehicle before taking on a custom build. But I don't know. We'll see. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.